Hey everyone, P. Corner here, the most famous Las Vegas odds maker you've never heard of. And today I'm going to pitch to you baseball. Of the four major sports, basketball and football are mostly point spread dominant, while hockey and baseball are more money line dominant. The reason is the amount of scoring. Where basketball can easily see scores totaling 200 points and higher, football can see scores totaling between 40 and 60 points. Baseball is much smaller in scope, with a range of 6 to 9 runs per game, and hockey even lower, with scores ranging from 4 to 6 goals. So when we can't really utilize a point spread, not counting updated in-game wagering, we have to use odds that reflect largely between even odds and 2 to 1. Since money lines are never affected by the margins of victory, it's much harder for the odds maker to create lines that can balance the wagering handle. Money lines are way more subjective than point spreads, and because the bettor just has to win, it's no secret that sportsbooks have trouble winning at baseball and hockey than hoops and football. One of the biggest changes in the psychology of betting money lines from 30 years ago, back then a minus $2 price tag was considered very high and could scare away chalk bettors with the mere sight of a minus $2 plus price tag. Today, no more. Bettors are easily willing to bet the favorites of almost any price if it means money in their pockets. There's absolutely no fear with today's bettors to bet anything at any level. Okay, where to start? In baseball, getting a good starting point is critical, so I use a few team projections to get the process going. First, I look at the team's current season total projections and come up with a break-even money line. I subtract the team's current record and extract yet another money line for what it takes for the team to reach that total. I've researched 5-year averages of teams' home and away records for each number of season wins, so I derive a number based on those factors as well. So I get a few numbers for each team that gives me a good start. Next, I need to look at starting pitchers, the biggest factor in the process. How a pitcher is pitching recently is huge on both sides. Baseball, however, has evolved into a different game from years ago. I never bought into the ERA. ERA is a comparative statistic of both pitchers, but not of actual pitcher performance. What I use is a statistic I made up back in the 80s called EPAS, E-P-A-S, ERA per average start. This is the ERA for the average length of a pitcher's start, not over the course of 9 innings. In handicapping baseball, would you want to rely on the fact that for every 9 innings pitched, a pitcher's ERA is 4.50, or the actual fact that a pitcher pitches 6 innings on average per start and gives up 3 earned runs? Same 4.50 ERA, but one gives you a better picture of what may happen on average. Next, I'm going to check the closing lines from previous games. Not only the pitcher's past few games, but the team's closing lines the past few games. Is this a better matchup? Is this a better pitcher than yesterday? Pitching against a better pitcher from the other team? Get a feel how the betting public has previously bet the team and pitcher. You should have logs with the pitcher's opening and closing lines, team logs with opening and closing lines. This gives you the best current picture of where the money is going with the team and pitcher. These logs also serve as a starting point when determining totals for each game. Always look at a home team's totals game by game, the quality of the pitching matchups, and where that compares to the pitchers you're looking at for today's games. Know the stadiums. San Francisco's ballpark is very different than Colorado's. Know the stadiums most affected by the wind. Naturally, Wrigley is a place we don't do totals too far in advance. We'll check the wind, mostly on game day. Know that Thursday and Sundays are getaway days. Also, managers are more likely to rest key starters on those day-after-night games. Major names out of the lineups will definitely cause money to move the line. Stay a step or two ahead of the money and know the habits of managers. Ever-changing lineups due to righty and lefty matchups are factors of how bettors will bet a game and total. Lastly, when it comes to totals, know the ballparks. There are a ton of outlets that keep track of runs per game by stadium and in night and day games. Know the umpires. Bettors do. In the long run, the differences may be subtle, but it's just another reason for money to be bet a certain way. Well, that's pretty much it. There's a lot to digest there. It's a lot of hard work, but know that the more information you have, the bigger edge you'll gain.